Okay, guys, to wrap up the project, what we're going to do is take our vector illustration and back into the Adobe Photoshop program. We're going to be taking first all of the color vectorized shapes that we created, along with, in this example, the hair that was painted in. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and select each of these layers, hold down the Shift key and click on these areas to target all of the vector shapes. We're going to copy it, and then we're going to jump over to the Adobe Photoshop program. And then once Adobe Photoshop program opens, once the Adobe Photoshop program is open, we're going to go to File, New. We're going to create the same size document, a tabloid size document, 11 by 17. And the orientation is tall or portrait. We're going to click Create. And we're going to go Edit, Paste. We're going to be pasting a smart object, what we copied out of the Adobe Illustrator program. We'll press OK. Here it is. We're going to check off the size. Fits on our page perfectly. And what we're going to do is we're going to hold down the Control key, and right over on this smart object, we're going to see the little icon pop out below the hand, little dotted line. Click once with the mouse button. It's going to load a selection around the color areas, not the white, but around the color. We'll add a new layer above, and then we're going to go to Edit, Fill. We're going to pick Pattern from the choices, and we're going to load up. We go to this little flyout menu, Load Patterns. We're going to go to Graphics, Computer Art, and pick Halftone Pattern. Click on that, hit Load. Mine's already there, so I won't do it, but you'll load it up. Once it's loaded, you'll see them available to you over here. As you go across these things and click on them one time, you can see the little icons changing. I'm going to go with this one that's a little bit larger. You can see the names too as well popping up: Halftone Fine, Halftone Light. The one I have is Halftone Heavy. And press OK. Again, this is done on a layer above our color. I'm going to zoom in just so you can see the dot pattern. And then we'll Control D to deselect our selection outline. And what we're going to do at this point is we're going to merge or blend these two things together. So the dot pattern and our vector smart object, which is our color vector, by going to the blending modes and just kind of starting to click on the darken one to begin. And I'm just using the arrow key downward to click on this and locate one that maybe you'd like to incorporate. Obviously, we want to have a merging of the two. Certain ones work better than others. You can actually pretty much use any one that you'd like. I'm going to go with Overlay, and you can also lower the opacity if you want. It's a little bright for the colors, so I'm going to lower it down about halfway. 54% mine is showing. And now we have this image. And the last part is to jump back to Illustrator and to click off of the selected areas, turn everything else off, and we're just going to turn on the paintbrush layer, target it, press this button to select it, and we'll do the same thing. Edit, copy, jump back to Photoshop, edit, paste. We'll pick a smart object again, press OK. It's not perfectly where we need it to be, but I'm going to hit the Enter key, and then I can just take my Move tool, kind of move it into position, and if I need to, I can use the arrow key on my keyboard to make slight adjustments to where this really needs to line up. Something like that. Something like this looks pretty good. So I'm going to zoom back out. And there you have it. We started in the Adobe Photoshop program, worked then in Adobe Illustrator, and then finally back over here into the Adobe Photoshop program to wrap us up. Make sure you save your project properly to the correct location. The name of the project should be your last name, Vector Illustration, Self-Portrait.